So, hello everyone, how are you doing? I hope everything's doing well. So, today we're going to have our pre-intermediate English topics explanation of the Model 1 synchronous session. My name is Julian Andres Uni, and welcome to this class. These are like the contents that we are going to have today. First, we're going to talk about the Model 1 content, and we are going to have the grammar review for the model number 1 and the final comments, the task and final comments. Give me 1 second. All right, so let's start. So our course introduction says our course is composed by one model and 7 activities in total. 3 of them are learning activities and 4 assessment activities. We will have the manual overview test in this course. So that is why we have 4 assessment activities, right? At the end, I'm going to show you specifically how to work on each of them. So for the grammar review of the model, we will have these topics. The first one, modal verbs must and have to. Must, or all right, modal verbs are those verbs that kind of modify the intention of a sentence. Yo siempre pongo este ejemplo en español para que lo podamos comprender. No es lo mismo decir páseme la sal, imperative, que could you pass me the salt or would you pass me the salt? Yes. So in that case, we have must and have to. These modals are used to indicate that an action is a personal obligation. In this part, we are talking about personal obligations and obligations that have um, an extrinsic motivation, right? So this is the structure, the subject plus the modal verb plus the action verb in the base form and the complement. So remember that we don't have double conjugation in English, right? Para una sola oración, un solo sentence, oración, no podemos tener doble conjugación, ¿listo? Entonces, como ya este verbo modal me modifica la intención, we are going only to use base form of the main verb. Este verbo va solo en su forma base, right? Because must is already a conjugation. We don't use to. We don't say we must to, I must to. No, we say I must practice guitar to win the contest. And even if it is a third person, we don't have conjugation, ¿sí? No tenemos conjugación así sea tercera persona. The negative form of this modal in the intention is different from the affirmative. It represents prohibition that is normally based on a rule or law. Aquí sí. In affirmative, it is internal motivation. I must learn, ¿sí? Quiero aprender, como que debo aprender. But it's because you feel you want it. But with mustn't, the negative form, it is because there's a law or a rule that you have in which you cannot do it. For example, you must not talk loud in the library. She mustn't smoke inside the hospital. Yes, and you can have the full form of the negation or the contracted form of the negation. In the form of questions, we only are going to move this modal verb to the beginning of the sentence and we close it with a question mark. And that's it. That is what we are going to work mainly for the questions. If we have a WH question, that remember that those are information questions, we add the information question even more to the beginning. Yes, you start the question with that word. Now, we have the other modal verb that is have to. In the affirmative verb, it is used to indicate that an action is an external obligation. Yes. So it is kind of the negative form of must to. In the affirmative verb of have to, we have this external obligation that makes a person complete such action. Yeah. These are the examples. You have to report the problem to the system. Yes, it is external motivation for you to do it. She has to present the exam before in the morning. So look at it. You have to for the second and plural and first person, and for the third person you are going to use has, the conjugation of have. That is the only modification. The main verb keeps without any conjugation. A diferencia de must, este sí, el auxiliar, el verbo como modal, que es have, se conjuga si tenemos he, she or it. El verbo principal no, pero el auxiliar sí, que es en este caso el verbo modal have. And for the negative form is the opposite, ¿sí? Se cruza con lo de must. In this modal verb, don't have to is used for, okay, it is for giving an option that it's saying that is not mandatory. ¿Sí? Aquí es cuando decimos don't have to, it means that you are not like um, you don't have to do it, so it is not mandatory for you. Aquí es que como no es obligatorio, ¿cierto? Entonces es al contrario de must. Examples, we don't have to work on Saturday, or she doesn't have to finish her homework today. ¿Listo? Tenemos el auxiliar don't or doesn't for the third person. All right, questions up to this moment? No? All right. So we have the interrogative form. We use the auxiliaries do and does because we are like conjugating the verb have. Keep keep in mind this. We move the auxiliary to the beginning of the sentence, but we keep the same structure of the sentence plus the question mark. Does he have to work tonight? So look at the main verb. It is without any conjugation. It keeps the same. Now, if we have a WH question, an information question, once again, you keep the same structure of a yes/no question and add the question at the beginning, the WH. All right. Simple past is used to talk about past events or express historical events. Using this tense it is very important to make past time references. ¿Listo? Este es otro tiempo gramatical, simple past. Remember that we have like two differentiations in terms of verbs, the regular and the irregular verbs. For example, we have he worked there for 10 years. They bought their new car. This is irregular and this one over here is regular. Yes. The regular verbs, you just add the ed at the end. Played, loved, cooked, enjoyed, fainted. If your verb has an e at the end, you just add the d. That is the easier ones. But the irregulars, we have a subdivision of the over there. Type 1, you need to change completely the form in past. The conjugation in past is like this. The good news is that in past, you only have one conjugation for all the verbs, except for the verb to be. That is a different situation over there. Now, verbs of type 2 keep the same form like in the simple present. Guys, remember in this part that at school we used to learn a long list of verbs that had 3 or 4 columns. This is the second column, the past, the simple past. All right. So for the For the negative form, we use an auxiliary that conjugates in past negative past. What is the translation? No, that is the translation into Spanish. You didn't celebrate me, you didn't call me last night. Yes, that is the simple form to say no me celebraste. Yes, but apart from saying no, this didn't, it gives you the order to have the conjugation of the verb. Yes, no me llamaste la anoche. She didn't celebrate her last birthday. Ella no celebró su último cumpleaños. Right? So you have subject plus didn't plus the action verb without any conjugation because remember you're conjugated with the auxiliary and the complement. Listos hasta ahí. If you have interrogative form, you are going to move the auxiliary. The auxiliary in this case is did or didn't because you can ask questions in negative. Yes. Didn't he travel last vacation? Or did he travel last vacation? That could be. So we move the auxiliary to the beginning and the rest continues the same. Yes. We have the option to add an information question. So we keep this structure of questions and at the beginning we are adding the WH word. What could be the WH word? What, how, who, where, when, hmm, why. Those are like the information questions. All right. Let's continue with the past continuous. Past continuous is used to indicate an action that was in process at some specific time in the past. Yes, so we had a moment in the past, yesterday, let's say yesterday. I was doing something during the whole day. For example, I was sleeping all day. That means that you were doing something at the past and some other action interrupted it. The day was by, the day went by or something you woke up or something like that. So the structure is the subject plus was or were depending on the pronoun, the action verb with the ing form, and the complement. So in here, we need to use this conjugated form of the verb with ing, like it is not conjugated, but it is like the form of the verb to complete the sense of being during a process, during a certain moment in the past, you were working on that. So you say, I was working when my phone rang. They were studying in the afternoon, and that's it. For the negative form, we are going to apply the negation directly to the auxiliary to be in past. You say weren't or wasn't. Or you can say were not or was not, like in here. Once again, according to the pronoun that you have over there. For the question form, you are going to move the auxiliary that in this case is the verb to be to the beginning of the sentence and the rest will continue the same. Was he working when my phone rang? Were they starting in the afternoon? And once again, if you have a WH word and WH question, you add it even more to the beginning. All right, so for the second conditional, we have that is used to talk about unreal, unlikely, and probable imaginary situations. We have four conditionals, zero, first, second, and the third. We are going to talk about the second conditional in this moment. Second conditional is used to talk about unreal, so it means that they do not exist or that like they are like really far to become real. Listo. Esto a veces tiende a ser un poco complejo, lo voy a tratar de explicar más bien en español, ¿listo? Tenemos, todo esto es una oración junta, para que de pronto la podamos leer junta. I would buy a Ferrari if I had a lot of money. ¿Listo? Yo compraría un Ferrari si yo tuviera mucho dinero. Esa es toda una sola oración. And what is the condition? If I had a lot of money. Sí, esa es la condición. The condition clause. And the result, I would buy a Ferrari. Compraría un Ferrari. ¿Listo? ¿Qué es importante? Que donde esté if, que traduce sí, pero sí no de yes, ¿sí? No de la afirmación, no con tilde, sino sí de condición sin tilde. Yo voy a agregar el verbo en pasado simple, ¿sí? If plus subject plus verb in past simple plus complement. Luego tenemos subject plus modal verb plus action verb plus complement, ¿sí? En la resultado. Entonces, donde tengo el verbo, donde tengo el if, vamos en pasado simple. Y donde está el resultado, lo vamos a hacer con would and could. Y remember. Y acuérdense que si tenemos would or could, es un verbo modal, esos ya me hacen una conjugación. Por eso va la acción, el verbo va como tal en forma base, sin conjugación, ni en presente, ni en pasado, ni nada. Por eso está aquí, I would buy. The negative form, we add the negation directly to the modal verb over here. And if you have in here a negation, you can add it directly to the verb, and that's it. Uh, if I hadn't a lot of money, yeah, could be like that. Otra cosita, listo. WH question, information questions. Normalmente vamos a encontrar este condicional si lo tenemos en forma de pregunta con pregunta de información. Es lo normal, ¿listo? ¿Cómo sería? Pues agregamos el cambio de posición del verbo modal al principio de la oración y antes de eso, WH word. What could you do if you had a problem with your boss? Or if you had a problem with your boss, comma, what would you do? Listo. Esa es la forma en que utilizamos information questions. Listo. Aquí quería mostrarles algo. La forma en la que nosotros estamos teniendo las condiciones. Podemos expresar la condición if al principio de la oración y si es así, vamos a terminar esa clause como esa partecita, esa oración con una coma y el resultado después de la coma. Por ejemplo, esta. If I didn't have money, I would work in a company, in that company, in that company. ¿Listo? O se puede tenerla así como la tenemos sin coma, que es con el resultado primero y luego la condición. All right, let's continue with more modal verbs. We have can, could, and should, that in this case are these verbs that help us to express the possibilities that you have. Yes. You can print your CV in color. She could reprogram her job interview. They should update their CV. Listo, podemos tener estas formas, all of them. So you use subject, modal verb, action of a verb, and complement. Remember that you don't need any conjugation in the main verb. We don't conjugate these modal verbs. Yes, no es cans, coulds, shoulds. No, we only have that ways. And the present verb even for the he, she, or it. For the negative form, we are adding the negative form directly to the modal verb. You can, should come during the interview. She couldn't speak about her old job in the interview. They shouldn't use informal language with their potential boss. In the form of questions, once again, we only move the kind of auxiliary that in this case is the modal verb to the beginning of the sentence. Can you reprogram the interview? Or could you reprogram the interview? And the rest will continue the same. And you close with a question mark in here, and that's it. If you have an information question, you keep this structure and add the information question at the beginning. In this case, what should I answer about my expectations in the job interview? All right, about sense, depending on what you want to express. This can is for possibility, like more real possibility. Could is also possibility, but not that real possibility. And should is what you must say. Like it is like something that you feel you need to do. Entonces, aquí tenemos estos tres que podrían más o menos ser iguales. Tú puedes imprimir tu hoja de vida a color. Es una posibilidad. Ella podría reprogramar su entrevista de trabajo y ellos deberían actualizar su hoja de vida. Eso es como lo que quiere decir, como en los casos en los que podamos utilizarlos. Present perfect tense. There is another tense that we use. It is used to talk about past situations related to the present, something that I have done in the past, but it is suitable for be done in the present, or that has changed my life in such a way that I feel the relation in here in the present. You can talk about achievements and experiences. For example, I have graduated from a master's, but you can even work for getting a new master. So that is wide an expectation for the future. You can also talk about recent events and actions, mainly in Iberic, in Iberic Spanish, you use it for recent events and actions. Em, en español colombiano casi no se usa, pero en español ibérico sí como que se usa mucho más para el pasado reciente, pero desde luego lo usamos. He venido a decirles algo. Recientemente acabo de llegar, ¿sí? Pero en Colombia normalmente decimos, vengo a decirles algo, ¿sí? Entonces es como la diferencia entre uno y otro. The auxiliary have is interpreted like haber, not as tener. So we have two translations for this verb to have. One is haber, así con HB, no haber, no, ese no, not tener. Yeah, that is the way we have it. In Spanish also we have this structure, of course. We have yo he comido. Chas, yo he comido. Este es el verbo haber y es un auxiliar en el español. ¿Listo? Eso es lo mismo que decir I have eaten. Listo. Recuerden, we need conjugation for the third person has. He, she, or it. Um, let's continue with the present perfect tense. We need to have, let me see, we have the structure over here. In here you have the structure. Subject plus have or has plus the past participle verb and the complement. Listo, aquí sí necesitamos el pasado participio. The third column that we needed to learn. Remember these are regular lists? So in this list you have get, got or gotten también, or give, gave, given, go, went, gone. See? We need to look for this list and learn our irregular verbs. With the regulars, we keep the structure of ed at the end. So we have these two examples. We have finished the model 2 in our cars. She has been to Canada 2 times. They are like the ways we use it in affirmative. This is the structure, but we are adding these expressions that emphasize on the present perfect tense. Estas palabritas nos ayudan a hacer como un énfasis especial en el presente perfecto. ¿Listo? El presente perfecto. Lady has just finished her test. Or lady has recently finished her test. Miren que con estas que están acá, va justo después o en el medio de los dos verbos, ¿cierto? My students have already sent their homework. Or my brother has never had any debts with banks. And I have been a professor for 4 years. Or I have been a professor since 2015. That is what we need to know about these expressions of the simple, the present perfect. The negative form, you are going to mark the negation in the auxiliary that in this case is the verb to have. They have not or they haven't completed the assignment yet. Yet, remember, you use yet at the end of the sentences and for negative and question forms. Only with those ways, with those forms, we use yet. Or he hasn't written the message yet. With questions, we use the auxiliary in the beginning of the sentence and the rest will continue the same. Have you ever flown a plane? Remember that you had in here have you have ever flown a plane. In question, have you ever flown a plane? Or has she ever applied for that job? And the question mark over here. If we have the WH question, we are going to keep the structure of the auxiliary at the beginning plus more to the beginning, we use the question that we want to ask. For example, how long have you studied English? Where has she eaten Italian food before? So remember that we use yet, already, and just. These expressions that I was showing you over here, we have yet, already, and just. The word yet is used only in negative or interrogative form, only in those cases. And it goes always at the end. Has Harold arrived yet? They haven't played yet. Eso significa como aún, más o menos, ¿cierto? Or already, for already we have, I have already eaten 2 slices of pizza. Already suggests that the action doesn't need repetition, ¿ya? Esto traduce al español ya, pero no nuestro ya colombiano, no de que ya es como en 2 horas, en 10 horas, bueno, no. Es ya de que ya pasó. I have already eaten 2 slices of pizza. Yo ya comí rebanadas de pizza, ¿cierto? Or have you already checked your email? So you have in affirmative form and in the question form. Um, for just, she has just had lunch. In this case, you have like just representing that the action happened a short time ago. Acabó de pasar, justo, yeah? He has just taken my phone. Perdón, has he just taken my phone? Justo él acaba de tomar mi teléfono. And that's like the expression over there. In the present perfect versus the simple past. Ok, ya terminamos present perfect, pero vamos a hacer como un énfasis entre simple past y present perfect. Present perfect is used to talk about past situations related to the present, achievement, experiences, and recent events. But with the simple past is used to talk about past situations that were completed in the past and have not connection with the present. ¿Sí? Entonces, en una, sí, pasado simple, algo que pasó, terminó, no se conecta con el presente, pero Hay otras que sí, como el presente perfecto, como cosas que se hacen y que tienen una repercusión en mi presente. We have traveled to different countries in recent years. We went to England in January 2015. ¿Sí? Miren la diferencia cuando yo utilizo uno y utilizo el otro. However, we can combine these two sentences to complement ideas. ¿Listo? Es muy común que complementemos nuestras ideas. My teacher learned English when he was at the university, but he has studied other languages since then. Y tenemos en la última cuchara de moral verbs. We have may and might. Um, may is used to ask for permission and it is really formal. This may is the most formal model that we have. May I go to the meeting with you? Yes, you may. No, you may not. So in here you have this may to ask for permission or to give the permission or to deny the permission, right? In the case of may, you use it to express possibilities about the present or the future when you are more or less sure, 50% de seguridad, 50% or more certainty. She has been sick recently. She may not come to class today, but she may be back next class. Estamos ahí como diciendo que puede, como que sí, puede, como que no, ¿ya? But with might, we use it to express possibilities with low certainty. Cuando la verdad es que no estamos ni 50% seguros, we use might. I think the dollar price might be more expensive next year. We might not attend to the meeting. We have been very busy recently. There are no negative contractions for may and might. ¿Listo? No tenemos might, no. Ni tampoco tenemos may, no. No. Tenemos may not and might not, right? All right, let's move to the topics on Canvas to check the way we need to work with the exercises there in Canvas. And over here, let me share my desktop. Remember that we use always modulos to navigate our course. This recording session will be uploaded down here, so you can check all of them. And remember to check all these all this learning material that you have in here, plus the supporting material if you want. We have three types of different activities. This one that is learning activity to 1.1, 2.1, and 3.1. And we have these ones 1.2, 2.2, 3.2 that are assessment activities. Yes. We have an extra over here that is an institutional exam that you are going to present, manual overview test. You present it in the middle of the second and the third group of activities. You will need to present it by only during those deadlines. ¿Listo? Ahí nos dice las fechas en las que los vamos a estar presentando solamente dentro de esas fechas. ¿Listo? Si hay alguna modificación o algo, yo se los hago saber a través de, pues, algún canal. Importante, estos que son Learning Activities, vamos a tener pues un poco más de laxitud, vamos a poder abrir y cerrar cuantas veces necesitemos esto, la plataforma nos guarda avances porque el trabajo es un poco dispendioso. Con los exámenes ahí sí no, tenemos un plazo de 75 minutos para presentarle, apenas le hemos comenzar, tenemos que terminar pues ya todo lo que estamos haciendo ahí. Listo. Este Manual of Review Test, vamos a seguir unas orientaciones que tenemos por ahí, que les estamos indicando para que ustedes presenten. Se presenta en otra plataforma que utiliza la universidad, así que no tengo control sobre esta plataforma y necesito que por favor estén muy pendientes con el tema de esas fechas. And that's it, guys. Remember that if you need any help, you can call me to the extension. And if you have any technical difficulty, please let me know. You can have also the backup in the group of WhatsApp. So that's it. Thank you very much for joining. I'm going to stop the recording and see you in the next opportunity.